I'm not going to sit here and debate whether or not affirmations work or don't work, because there's quite a substantial amount of people who believe that affirmations work and probably the same amount of people who believe that affirmations don't work, right? But personally, I believe affirmations have a place in business, even if it's just to keep you focused on the actions that you need to do in order to get results, or to keep you positive, knowing that when you're positive, you have a lot more energy and you make better decisions. But whatever you want to believe, there's one area that affirmations have been extremely helpful in my life, and that's writing down the outcome that I want from every major event in my life before I step into it. And I'm going to explain exactly how I do this for those of you who are extremely left-brain analytical entrepreneurs like me, not the typical believe it and it'll automatically appear people. And I learned this decades ago, and I remember the very first time that I did this and how shocked I was that it worked. It was in my early 20s, and I had my one and only job where I actually worked for somebody else, which really only lasted about a year. But during that year, I remember the company that I worked for was called Nutrisystem, and I started as one of their counselors. And then within a year, I moved up from counselor to salesperson. And then after exceeding all the sales expectations, I went from salesperson to sales manager. And then I became an assistant manager of a location. And then in that same year, a manager of that location. And again, that was right out of college. So I was in my early 20s. And I got into the habit of writing down what I wanted to achieve each day. And before I walked into any meeting that was important to me, I wrote down a sentence about how I wanted that meeting to go. And that simple act helped me to stay super focused and very, very efficient. So I walked into every single meeting knowing what I wanted, and every aspect of that meeting was focused on the end results that I needed to get out of it, right? And I carried that through every company that I've built ever since then. And what's been even more powerful has been the effect that that's had, that simple exercise has had on the team members inside of our companies, because that's something that we now train our team to do so that they stay laser focused on what they need to get out of every single meeting, right? Whether that's a meeting with a prospect or a meeting inside of our company, an internal meeting, or even a presentation that they're doing to another company. Now, team members have a meeting agenda that they need to fill out so that they get used to writing a simple one-line statement before walking into the meeting about what they want the end result of that meeting to be. But after a few months of working with us on our team, nobody really needs that. They walk into meetings automatically knowing what they need that meeting to go like so that it's a win-win for everybody involved. And if you call that an affirmation, then definitely I think affirmations work. In fact, any time that you could use affirmations or pretty much any tool to keep yourself focused on the few key actions that drive growth for you, you should be doing that. On the other hand, affirmations that I think are probably not worth your time are the ones that literally pull you away from your goal, which is pretty much how most people, use affirmations. And what a lot of you may not know about me is that I spent about 7 years of my life speaking on stages across the globe, and I spoke on stages with and hung out with and became really, really good friends with many of the top names in personal development who teach affirmations. So when I say that the majority of people use affirmations and they use it wrong, right, in a way that's hurting their progress, I'm basing it on hundreds of hours that I spent hanging out with leaders in the personal development field. Because the way that most people use affirmations is by going out there and setting a goal for a successful career and an amazing family and a life where they travel the globe and millions of dollars in the bank and maybe a big, beautiful house to live in and a life where they live to 120 years old with extraordinary health all the time. And they get pulled in 20 different directions. So they never really focus long enough on the few key actions to get them to the next level. To live an extraordinary life, you first need to know what your main objective is. And if that's more than one thing, you need to make sure that all of the things on your list are aligned so you don't write down that you want to travel the world this year and grow a multi-million-dollar business from scratch this year and have stellar health and find the man or woman of your dreams and save an extra $1 million all before the end of this year, because getting all of that in 1 year is highly improbable, and it's also very, very distracting, which is why so many people who set mass goals like that never really hit their target, because you need to focus a lot on your business if you're going to grow a multi-million-dollar business from scratch in a year, which you might not be able to do if you're traveling the globe and you're dating a lot and you're stuffing an extra $1 million into your savings account every day, right? So the secret to affirmations is to first know what the most important thing is, that if you achieved it this year or this quarter or this month, it would have the biggest positive impact on your life or your business or your happiness or your fulfillment. And then use affirmations to stay focused on the few key actions that get you there the fastest. Now, I realize the content that I usually put out is very, very tactical, right? Tactical ways to grow your business or become a better leader. But little details like this, little details about how to stay focused and not get distracted in business, make your progress significantly easier. And if you like this topic, you're going to love what I'm giving you access to. So make sure to click the link in the description to find out more. And don't forget to subscribe and tell me in the comments what you think about using affirmations in business.